rapists, drug dealers across the border.
If it weren't for me, you wouldn't even be talking about illegal immigration, Chris.
The testiest moment of the night didn't involve Trump, but instead New Jersey Governor Chris Christie and Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. It was over the NSA's bulk data collection, which Christie supports and Paul does not.
I want to collect more records from terrorists, but less records from innocent Americans.
When you're sitting in a subcommittee just blowing hot air about this, you can say things like that.
You fundamentally misunderstand the Bill of Rights.
To be sure, there was plenty of Hillary Clinton bashing tonight.
If Hillary is the candidate, which I doubt, that would be a dream come true.
If I'm our nominee, how is Hillary Clinton going to lecture me about living paycheck to paycheck?
Everywhere in the world that Hillary Clinton touched is more messed up today than before she and the
We have many questions to come.
Here in the same arena in Cleveland, where the Republican Party will hold its national convention next year. But perhaps the most bizarre riff on Hillary came from the Donald, who talked about why he contributed to her in the past.
With Hillary Clinton, I said, be at my wedding, and she came to my wedding. You know why? She had no choice.
It was a bit of a tough night at times for Jeb Bush. The former governor of Florida seemed to struggle on issues such as immigration, education, and once again, the Iraq War. But he did stay above the fray when offered a chance to attack Trump.
You called Mr. Trump a clown, a buffoon, something else that cannot be repeated on television.
None of which is true.
Is it true?
No, it's not true. But I have said that Mr. Trump's language is divisive. I want to win. I want one of these people here, or the ones at 5 o'clock, to be the next president of the United States.
Well, first of all, Jeb, I am very happy that you denied that, and I appreciate that very much.
So how did the debate go over with Republican voters? We got some rapid response tonight.
If you won't say it, I will.
From Tony Lahren, a young political commentator who's become a viral sensation on YouTube in recent weeks. Tonight she weighed in on all things Trump.
We know Donald Trump tells it like it is. He's not afraid of it. What I saw, though, is Donald Trump be fearless. I didn't see him back himself into a corner. I saw him challenge Megyn Kelly. I saw him challenge other Republicans on the stage, and then I saw Megyn Kelly challenge him right back. I like the conversation there.
And ABC's Tom Llamas was right there in Cleveland tonight for all the drama. Tom, what are you seeing there?
Dan, good evening from the post-debate spin room where candidates are answering even more questions. The big buzz, obviously, that Donald Trump is not afraid to run without the Republican Party, refusing to take a pledge that he will not run as an independent. The other big buzz, some candidates actually breaking through. Besides Donald Trump, Dr. Ben Carson, the second most talked about candidate on social media. And speaking of social media, Hillary Clinton had something to say. Jon Stewart, missing you already. Hashtag GOP debate. Dan, back to you.
Tom Llamas on the ground in Cleveland tonight. Thank you. We want to turn now to our colleague Matt Dowd, ABC News political analyst, and also BuzzFeed's Washington, D.C. bureau chief John Stanton. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. Let me start with you. Did Donald Trump help or hurt himself tonight?
I think Donald Trump had momentum coming into tonight, but I think over the course of the 2 hours, I think it wore sort of thin over this. And I think any momentum, in my view, that he had coming in, is stopped by tonight. I think he made a few errors in the course of tonight, some of the engagement that he had with some of the moderators. But I think what he did, he'll still be ahead coming out, but I think any momentum is now stalled because of his shtick. Kind of got a little old over 2 hours.
So, John, you work at BuzzFeed. I've got to ask you, do you have a sense of what is popping tonight, what's going viral, if anything?
I think there are a couple things. I think one, the eye roll from Rand Paul was kind of amazing in his fight with Governor Christie. I think the Donald Trump sort of the shruggy emoticon moment there was pretty good because they both sort of sum up, I think, their debate performances, frankly. But I think coming out of today, Carly Fiorina, who did very, very well in the afternoon debate, and the Ohio Governor Kasich, he did very, very well tonight, and I think they're going to have momentum, and that could change the dynamic a little bit for Trump.
Why are people so excited about Carly?
Carly Fiorina will be in the next debate. I think she has enough momentum from her earlier debate. By all accounts, she won it overwhelmingly, and I think there was enough people at this debate that sort of faded from it that she's going to jump into that next debate in September, so get ready for Carly Fiorina. And I agree. I think if there was a winner tonight, it was John Kasich, the governor of Ohio. I think he came across as the adult in the room. His answers, they flowed well. There was a seam to him. And I actually think he had the line of the night tonight, which is God loves me unconditionally, therefore, in the answer to the question about gay marriage and his daughters, therefore I'm going to love my friends and my family unconditionally.
Okay, before we go, got to ask you about Jeb Bush.
I think he didn't do a lot to ultimately distinguish himself, which is kind of, I think, what he needed to do to get some kind of momentum.
I'll take it a step further. I think Jeb Bush is no longer the inevitable candidate that everybody thought he was. I think of anybody on that stage tonight that didn't do what they were supposed to do at all, it was Jeb Bush. He's going to need every dollar of his $100 million in this course of this race because he just lost any veneer of inevitability coming out of here.
Matt Dowd, John Stanton, thank you both. Appreciate it. And up next here on Nightline, a family drama on the frontiers of science and ethics, one that has ensnared celebrities like Sofia Vergara. We're going to go inside the story of a couple who created embryos together, but then got divorced. Now she wants to have those babies, and he is fighting to stop her.
I'm gonna crack like nobody's watching and eat like I skipped lunch. Why? Because Red Lobster's Crab Fest is back, and I'm diving into so much crab, so many ways. Like crab lover's dream with luscious snow and king crab legs and rich crab Alfredo. Or the snow crab bait. Who knew crab goes with everything? Whoever put crab on this salmon, that's who. With flavors like these, I'm almost too excited to eat. Hey, I said almost. And now that it's back, get cracking while you still can.
You dreamt of a condo next to the train. Then I showed you how it shook as it came. And you saw close to and next to are not quite the same. Let a RE/MAX agent guide you. RE/MAX, dream with your eyes open.
At Intel, they make technology that gives you the power of a PC and fun of a tablet.
I could turn it into a tablet and do my spreadsheets?
I said fun of a tablet?
Exactly.
Upgrade to a 2-in-1 with Intel Inside.
I sure had a lot on my mind when I got out of the hospital after a DVT blood clot. What about my family? My little buddy? And what if this happened again? I was given warfarin in the hospital, but I wondered if this was the right treatment for me. Then my doctor told me about Eliquis. Eliquis treats DVT and PE blood clots and reduces the risk of them happening again. Not only does Eliquis treat DVT and PE blood clots, but Eliquis also had significantly less major bleeding than the standard treatment. Knowing Eliquis had both turned around my thinking.
Don't stop Eliquis unless your doctor tells you to. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. If you had a spinal injection while on Eliquis, call your doctor right away if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. While taking Eliquis, you may bruise more easily, and it may take longer than usual for bleeding to stop. Seek immediate medical care for sudden signs of bleeding like unusual bruising. Eliquis may increase your bleeding risk if you take certain medicines. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures.
Eliquis treats DVT and PE blood clots, plus had less major bleeding. Both made switching to Eliquis right for me. Ask your doctor if it's right for you.
I'll ride the highway. I'm going my way. I leave a story untold.
You just keep sending more pictures.
If you're a free-range chicken, you roam free. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
When Salonpas began in Japan in 1934, a single patch created the category of pain relief. Now, 80 years later, Salonpas has evolved into a complete family of pain relievers, perfect for back, muscle, or joint pain. Salonpas, for targeted relief.
Friday, a single mom introduces her new boyfriend to her son.
Gabriel, this is my son Anthony.
You're kidding me, right? But she never mentioned.
You didn't tell me he was black.
So what happens next? What do people do? Get ready for an eye-opening What Would You Do? Friday at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Never let a great day go to waste. Get to Kings Dominion and the expanded Soak City. 2 parks for the price of 1. Save on tickets only at kingsdominion.com.
We got an online car approval hoodwink in progress.
I hate hoodwinkers.
No!
What?
I guess I could have just knocked on your door.
but it said they would approve me, even with my credit.
Another internet lie. Only Drive Time gives you a real online approval. With a guaranteed price. Is that safe? I don't know.
Why are we laughing? Save yourself. Get a real online approval first. Go to drivetime.com.
Jay Tronfield, he will make you feel like you are the only client. He pays that much attention to his clients.
Elizabeth West. She was wonderful. Scale of 1 to 10, she'd be 100.
David Durrett is a wonderful person. Not only that, he's a wonderful lawyer.
I'm glad that I had Tronfield's office to lean on. This is their expertise. And it showed. The end result showed.
They met, fell in love, and when she got sick with cancer, they created embryos together to protect their chances of having a family. But then divorce, and now she wants to have those children while he is trying to stop her. This is an emotional fight at the intersection of baby-making technology and the law. And here's ABC's Amy Robach.
I'm doing this for my babies, and I'm their mom.
46-year-old Mimi Lee is locked in a legal battle for what she calls her only shot at motherhood. The 5 frozen embryos she created with her now ex-husband, embryos he wants destroyed.
I have biological children ready to come to life.
These embryos are now at the center of a 2-year-long, high-profile California court case, an unhappy ending to a romance that spanned 2 decades.
We met as students at Harvard College.
So you plan your wedding, he proposes, you get the worst news possible.
10 days before the wedding, I got the diagnosis that I had breast cancer.
How important was it to you at that moment to preserve your ability to procreate?
It was critically important.
Lee, a Juilliard-trained pianist and anesthesiologist, says she decided to risk making her cancer worse for a chance at the children she says she and her now ex-husband, Stephen Findley, wanted more than anything.
We realized the risks. I would be injecting myself with the very hormone that my tumor feeds on.
Lee, then 41, went through with the procedure. The embryos were created, and she successfully completed breast cancer treatment. But then her marriage began to fall apart. In 2013, he filed for divorce.
Did your mind go immediately to the embryos and what might happen?
Yes, it was the #1 biggest concern of mine.
Lee is suing for custody of the embryos, but there was a critical detail, the clinic's consent form, which they both signed, saying that the embryos were to be destroyed in the event of a divorce.
Tell me about the consent form that you signed. You checked off what should happen to the embryos in the case of a divorce, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about that?
There wasn't a lot of discussion. We just kind of went through the form just like we did all the other forms for all the other multiple procedures we were going through at the time.
Stephen Findley and his lawyers say that this signed consent form should determine the outcome of this case.
It's still an agreement. The agreement is in this document at least 27 times.
Mimi Lee's lawyer, Peter Skinner, disagrees.
It's not a contract. If you go through this consent form, 10-page, single-space form, kind of thing you're handed before you begin a medical procedure, nowhere in there does it say this is irrevocable. We're not going to be able to change our minds. These are the binding directions for all time.
Stephen Findley testified that he believes his ex-wife would, quote, manipulate the situation to extract money for other purposes, a claim Lee denies.
You've made it very clear in your declaration that you do not expect Stephen to be a part of this child or these children's lives physically, logistically, and more specifically, financially, correct?
Correct.
Your ex-husband's lawyer said during closing arguments, it's not that Stephen doesn't want to have children, he just doesn't want to have children with Mimi.
Those are hard words to hear from anybody. It hurts in a way that's so personal.
Mimi's court battle could set an important legal precedent for others like her. The decision is now officially in the hands of a California judge who will render the final verdict.
She's got a powerful and compelling moral argument. But because she signed that document,
she's in a tough spot legally.
There is an estimated 1 million embryos currently in preservation across the United States, and advances in reproductive technology are now outpacing the law, and the battles are playing out in court. Like the high-profile battle between actress Sofia Vergara and her former fiancé, Nick Loeb. The couple had created frozen embryos before they broke up. He then sued her for custody. I interviewed Sofia about that this past May.
There's paper signs, there's a court day. He shouldn't be creating something so ugly out of nothing.
Vergara says the bottom line is they had a signed agreement that the embryos were to be destroyed in the event of their breakup.
Hurt? Embarrassed? Angry? No, I don't want to allow this person to take more advantage of my career and try to promote himself.
33-year-old Jacob Safransky is fighting for his right not to be a father.
I am being forced to become a father against my will. There's no question or mincing words about that.
He donated his sperm to create embryos with his now ex-girlfriend right after she too was diagnosed with cancer. They broke up, but his ex still wants her only chance at having biological children, his. The court ruled in her favor.
There was an injustice in that, what took place that day. To say that I'll become a parent without wanting to become a parent, that's the worst circumstance to bring, a child into the world.
Safransky's lawyer says he plans to appeal to the Illinois Supreme Court. His ex-girlfriend declined to comment.
What would you say to those who are looking at this case and believe that you're essentially forcing parenthood on your ex-husband?
It's such a gray area. I think Steve and I created these embryos with the hope of having our children. I can't imagine that if we actually did have children and the marriage dissolved, that he would say, okay, now we have to end the lives of these children because I don't want to be a part of it anymore.
The judge in California has until late November to decide the fate of Stephen and Mimi's embryos, a decision that could have resounding repercussions for so many.
If the verdict doesn't go your way, have you prepared yourself for that? And what are your options?
I am prepared. I'm still very, very devoted and dedicated to seeing these embryos to life. So I will continue to fight for custody of them.
For Nightline, I'm Amy Robach in New York.
Up next, from the front lines to the bright lights of the anchor desk, it has been 10 years now since we lost Peter Jennings, a broadcast icon and my mentor. A personal reflection when we come back.
ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Progressive.
Progressive Insurance here, and I'm a fox who thrives on the unexpected. Shall we dine? You wouldn't expect an insurance company to show you their rates and their competitors' rates, but that's precisely what we do. Going up? Nope. Coming down. And if you switch to Progressive today, you could save an average of over $500. Stop it. So call me today at the number below. Or is it above? Dismount. Oh, and he sticks the landing.
I'm Jerry Bell II.
And Jerry Bell III.
I'm like a big bear. He's my little cub. This little guy is non-stop. He's always want to hang out with his friend. Got to be prepared to sit at the edge of your seat and be ready to get up. There's no deep couch sitting. It's definitely not good for my back. This is the part I really don't like right here. What's that? It's a Swiffer wet jet. It almost feels like it's moving itself. It's kind of fun. That comes from my floor? This is deep couch sitting.
Deep couch sitting.
You can't put two in one.
At Intel, they make technology that lets a device be a laptop and a tablet. So you can put two in one.
No, you can't.
Can.
Can't.
Upgrade to a 2-in-1 with Intel.
Zantac heartburn alert. Stop. Nexium can take 24 hours to work. Zantac's different. Zantac rushes relief in as little as 30 minutes. For relief without the wait, try Zantac. No pill relieves heartburn faster.
Tomorrow, get ready to kick it with Luke Bryan.
Let's get this party started.
Tomorrow, tell them where, Luke.
Good morning, America.
Presented by the makers of Dr. Scholl's.
I'm Keith Hernandez. I'm Walt Clyde Frazier.
Hold the show.
That gray beard is a no-go.
In 5 easy minutes, what's just for men in it?
Here's the kicker. Your beard will look thicker.
Guys.
seriously hurt, there's a lot on the line. The insurance company may try to downplay your injury or offer you less than what you may need. The wrong decision here may affect you for the rest of your life. This is serious business.
That's why I called Marks and Harrison.
The sooner you act, the better.
And there was no fee unless they won my case.
Tell them you mean business. Call 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Marks and Harrison, right now.
The gospel of Jesus Christ is the most encouraging message the world has ever known. Not only is it the most encouraging, it's the most powerful message because it is through the gospel of Jesus Christ you and I learn that we can have a personal relationship with the Lord.
Sundays at 10 a.m.
America's Best Designer Sale is going on now. You get 2 pairs of glasses for $69.95, plus get a free eye exam. Hundreds of designer frames to choose from. Sofia Vergara, Project Runway, Darion, and more. The designer sale at America's Best. 2 pairs of glasses for $69.95 and a free eye exam. Hurry, sale ends soon. Call 1-800-2-PAIR or visit americasbest.com to schedule an appointment today. America's Best, the best prices in sight.
Window World, official partner of the Washington Redskins training camp. Stay connected to the news where you live. Search 8 News for the app with the latest local developments, traffic, and streaming. And search 8 News Storm Tracker for the complete weather app with radar, forecasts, and alerts. Showers likely, temperatures only in the lower 80s.
Finally here, this is the kind of night with an exciting presidential debate that my old boss and mentor, Peter Jennings, would have loved. Hard to believe, but it was 10 years ago tomorrow that we lost Peter, so tonight we're going to take a look back.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. Like many aspiring journalists, I grew up wanting to be Peter Jennings. So worldly, so smooth, with the 007 looks and that keen intelligence that just pierced right through the screen. Peter, who was actually a high school dropout, started as the anchor here on ABC at age 26. But it didn't go so well, so he went overseas to reinvent himself as a foreign correspondent.
Let's go to Peter now.
Here he is at the Munich Olympics filing his now legendary live reports as Israeli athletes were massacred by Palestinian terrorists.
Might be most likely to narrow in on a group called Black September.
In the 1980s, Peter returned to the anchor chair, leading ABC's World News Tonight. Signature moments included his 24 hours of anchoring at the turn of the millennium. And then there was his emotional moment during our marathon coverage of the terror attacks of September 11th.
So if you're a parent, you got a kid in some other part of the country, call them up.
His extraordinary career came to an end in 2005, however.
I have learned in the last couple of days that I have lung cancer.
He never returned. For me, Peter was perhaps the single most important influence of my professional life. This is us reporting together in Iraq. There was no question that, in person, Peter could be tough and very intimidating, but he was a singular figure, a deeply serious and skeptical journalist, a broadcast icon, and someone I and many others here still dearly miss.
I still think about him all the time. Thank you for ending your day with us. Much more on the big debate first thing in the morning on GMA. And don't forget, we're online 24/7 on our Nightline Facebook page and at abcnews.com. Thanks again for watching tonight, and good night.
Every day, more Americans choose ABC News, America's #1 news source. Sunday night, when the difference between life and death is just minutes.
She's a 29-year-old female.
These are the people you want.
It's gonna get real exciting real fast.
On your side. See what millions of Americans can't get enough of.
She looks much happier now.
Inside the emergency rooms of Save My Life, Sunday at 10/9 Central, and Saturday night, hit the streets.
The rollover fully involved.
In a race to save lives on Boston EMS.
Wow, that's awesome.
Saturday and Sunday nights. It's amazing TV on ABC.
I cannot believe Lindsay Snow's
seeing you after that breakfast at Tiffany's.